Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me, and we have arrived, ladies and gentlemen, for my 2024 NFL picks that I will do every single week, dropping hopefully every single Wednesday. We're talking week 1 today. We're talking spreads and totals. Let's get into it. Before we do, I always like to warn people who come to this channel, whether new or old, the NFL is hard to beat. Okay, it is the toughest sport to model, to handicap, to accurately predict. It has the most money sent in on it. It has the tightest line. So it's just not something that most people should expect to be victorious over the long term. Of course, we're going to try, but temper your expectations, okay? I'm not going to force any picks on this channel, and you will see what I mean by that in just a second. And my final advice is to use your analysis coupled with mine. Don't just take me blindly at my word. I am wrong all the time. I try to put effort into my research, into my understanding the game and my knowledge of the game and bring that all to you guys, but I am not perfect, so please trust yourself. I am going to track every single pick this year like I did last year. I have this handy sheet that I created in Google Sheets, and I will show this every single week so that there is full transparency on this channel. I rank my picks under 4 different principles. We have green, which is high confidence, yellow, which is medium, red, which is low, and pink, which is the extra most bestest. No, Little Caesars is not a sponsor yet, but maybe they will be by the end of this year, and that is my favorite pick of the week. So I really don't care how I fare in the red picks. I would love to be above 500, above 50%. But if I'm not, it's not the end of the world. The yellow, I would like to be around 50%. And if we can go 60, 65% for green, I will feel tremendous. So, and same for the extra most bestest for pink. So pay attention to that as we move through. Let's do it. Drum roll, please. Thursday night. That's tomorrow. We got the Super Bowl defending Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Baltimore Ravens. And if I had to make a pick on the spread, I would take Chiefs minus 2.5. But as you can see, that is a low confidence pick. That is a red pick. And it's so low confidence that if this line was 3.5, I would probably go Baltimore. Okay, that's the difference in that key number of 3 that I think here. But the under 47 is an absolute green. All right. And don't get too excited. There's not a ton of green. Okay. I think I have 5 or 6, good bets, high confidence bets, but we'll get one out of the way here first, under 47. So first with the Ravens, they have a new defensive coordinator. Obviously, their old defensive coordinator went to be the head coach of Seattle. Derrick Henry comes to this team in his debut, and I'm shocked more people have not been talking about how him and Lamar are going to fare together. I think it's going to be a crazy 1-2 punch. Again, like I said, I would take Baltimore 3.5. I think this is going to be a tight game. Hard Rock does have this minus 2.5 at minus 120. Like I said, Super Bowl hangover risk is possible. We saw the Chiefs last year open up this season at home against the Lions. They lost by 1. So that is in the back of my mind, right? But I think that is also in the back of theirs. And so I think they come in a little bit more prepared. Mahomes is 3-1 versus Lamar in his career, and they are projecting 55% chance of rain, which I think helps our under if we do get some wet, precipitation in that one. So those would be my picks for Thursday. We also have a game on Friday, which is rare. This game is being played in Brazil. The temperatures are going to be very mild, like 67, 70 degrees, almost perfect football weather. Outside of that, of course, you can consider jet lag and just, traveling to Brazil is not natural for either of these teams, yada, yada. I'm trying not to pay too much attention to all of that yet because these teams are just getting started, right? It's not like they had a game last week and now they're having to travel to a different country. It's the first week, right? They've known about this forever. So I think it'll have a limited impact. I would go Packers plus 2.5 here, and I would go under 48.5, although, as you can see, it's a medium and low confidence pick. I think everyone has high expectations for the Packers. I am probably more of a Packers hater than I am a Packers truther this year. I want to see what they can do. I want them to prove it for me or prove it to me. They do get Josh Jacobs this year. Adam Jones walks to Minnesota. And for the Eagles, this was a defense last year that struggled, allowed 25 points per game. I think losing Jason Kelce, their center, is going to hurt them more at the beginning of the year and maybe throughout the year than people are letting on. He is a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, a center. So I think a lot goes through him that may be missed now that he is gone. They did add Saquon Barkley over from the Giants, so we will see, kind of like Lamar and Derrick Henry, Hurts and Saquon should be a powerful duo, but with the injuries that Barkley's had in the past, I can't trust him. So in this one, I would take the Packers with the points plus 2.5. Yeah, and the under, but again, not super confident in either. Starting off our Sunday games at 1 o'clock, we have the Steelers and the Falcons. And I was shocked, to tell you the truth, that we were getting 3.5 points with the Steelers. Atlanta is a team, again, that has to prove it to me. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is really healthy at this point. An Achilles injury, he injured it at the very end of last year. Of course, he's had all summer to I get it, but I need to see it. And that's going to be a common theme from this video today, is me saying, I need to see it, right? Because there are a lot of question marks that I have for a lot of these teams. So again, take all of this slowly. We got weeks to build. We got weeks to learn. This is, a real, rough draft, if you will. The Falcons receivers are Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Ray McLeod. What? That's horrible. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it, pals. That's poo. That's pooey. That's junk. That's a horrible trio of wide receivers. So I don't know what the Falcons hype is this year. I'm not sold just yet. Steelers are starting Russell Wilson. Their offensive coordinator is Arthur Smith, who was the Falcons' last head coach. So of course you have that storyline going into this one. Who has the advantage? Who's going to have a better idea of what the other is going to do? I don't know. We talked about this on my Notre Dame or my upset picks last week for the underdogs with Mike Elko, Texas A&M, and Riley Leonard. We saw the QB get the advantage. Of course, there's not a QB head coach sort of matchup in this one. I lean Steelers. I think that they will do what it takes to beat the Falcons, and I have not seen the Falcons beat anyone by more than a touchdown since Roddy White was there. It's what it feels like, okay? A team that just constantly loses games at the end, so I'm not backing them. Another 1 o'clock game, we have the Cardinals and the Bills. Bills are 6.5-point favorites. I like minus 6.5 for the Bills, and I like the under. The Cardinals have a lot of talent on paper, but this is an early start for them, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast, which typically hurts teams. And I think the Bills are eager to get off paper. Everybody all offseason has been saying how much worse this team has gotten, at least in terms of roster construction and the like. And I think they're ready to come in and say, you know what, it doesn't matter what it says on the depth chart. It matters what we do. So, average confidence for these. Not a game I probably do a lot of betting on in terms of sides and totals, as it is not green. But speaking of green, this one's a little bit of a risk, okay? And this is sort of a zig when everybody else zags. I like Titans plus 4.5. I'm a little shocked at this line. Will Levis, assuming he doesn't get worse, okay, is competent. He gains weapons like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd. He keeps DeAndre Hopkins, who should play in this one. They get Tony Pollard. They lose Henry, of course. We know that. But I think Pollard is more of a weapon in the passing game anyway, which will help Levis. He also has a year of experience. He's not worrying about, am I going to have to battle Tannehill? Pardon me, I can't remember the guy who was backing him up. Malik Willis, maybe. Is he coming up on the depth chart behind me, right? So it's just like, that helps a QB's mindset. Okay, but the opposite is true for the Bears. All the expectations are on them. All the pressure is on them. Caleb Williams said in a recent interview he doesn't feel pressure or get nervous and hasn't since like Pop Warner middle school football. I don't buy it. I just don't. So give me the Titans plus 4.5 on the road and the under. But again, I'm not too confident on the under. In fact, I have low confidence on the under. If you're keeping score at home, every single play has been the under, and it's not going to change on this one. We got the Patriots visiting the Bengals. Patriots are a complete mystery to me. They do have a new quarterback, a new coach. Jacoby Brissett is starting. They have a bunch of unproven wide receivers. The Bengals, this shocked me, right? Because the Bills are minus 6.5, and the Bengals are minus 7.5. I would argue that the Bengals are a better team than the Bills, and the Patriots are a worse team than the Cardinals, and it's only a 1 point difference. Like, this feels like a trap to me. I would have this closer to 9.5 if I'm Vegas, if I'm setting the line. And obviously, I'm not Vegas. And obviously, if I was Vegas, I wouldn't be making these videos, right? I would be raking in the money from people losing money to me, the book. But it's shocking to me. So it is a medium confidence. Under 40.5. I mean, again, I think this could be a 28-10 type game. That's my prediction for this. Houston and Indianapolis, a bit of an upset here. And, I wish I had the guts to call the upset, put some green on it. I do not, and I mean that both literally and metaphorically. Green on the sheet, green in my wallet. I like the Colts +3. The divisional matchups are always tight. Colts are at home. Colts want to start off on a good note. Again, Houston has all the pressure and all the expectations in this one. They do have a lot of new pieces, which should help them, but I think there's going to be a bit of a learning curve with that. They do have a decent rush defense, which counters what the Colts are probably going to try to do this one, which is get Jonathan Taylor going early in the season and kind of take some of that pressure off Anthony Richardson. But I would say +3, under 48.5. I think this is spoiler time, and I think this is one where the last possession kind of decides the game. So we will see come Sunday. Another 1 o'clock game. We have Jacksonville and Miami, and I want you guys to talk to me in a week, because this one I sat and I stewed over for like 20 minutes, all to come up with no confidence. Guys, I'm not going to waste I got 16 of these to do every week. I can't, you'd pour my heart into every single last one of them. These would be my picks, but again, no confidence in either. I have no idea how this game is going to go. Not even a guess. All right. I believe this is the last 1 o'clock game, but we'll know on the next sheet. We have an NFC South divisional matchup. Saints are 3.5-point favorites over the Panthers. I believe, this is what's funny about this one. I believe in the Panthers this season. Like, I would take their over win total, but I don't believe them in this game. I hate the Saints this year. I would take their under win total, but I believe in them in this game, which I realize is completely counterintuitive. But I think, it's a 4 to 6 point game. I think it's close, but I think there's points scored in this one. Like, I think you get both of these offenses who kind of underperformed last year. Panthers really underperformed, and you get Bryce Young, and he has Dave Canales now as his head coach, who kind of revived Baker Mayfield's career in Tampa. I think that's a huge thing for Bryce Young, and I think they will get it together. I just am not sure it's going to be this one. I think this could be like a 24-27 game. Like, I think this could go 10 points over the total. So why is it red? Because it's the Panthers and the Saints. And at the end of the day, I can't trust either of them. It could easily be a 13-6 game. So that's why it's red. But I digress. That was not the last 1 o'clock game. This is the last 1 o'clock game, right? Yes. Okay. This is the last 1 o'clock game. I would take the Vikings -1.5, and I would take the over 41 when the Vikings go to the Giants. Darnold is the guy because J.J. McCarthy is injured, and he's going to go surgery time, and he's going to be out for the whole year. Sam Darnold will be playing at his old stadium because the Giants and the Jets share a stadium. He should be comfortable. He should know, what to expect in terms of setup and field, and just kind of be cozy at home, right? Aaron Jones is there now to support him. That just sounds bizarre. I like the Vikings here, and I think 1.5 is a little too low. But again, it's early in the season, so I'm being very cautious about what I endorse with green and yellow. We'll put it at red here for the Giants. Good luck, have fun. I don't know what they're bringing. There's too much of a mystery with this team, so this is red because I don't know what the Giants are capable of. Game at 4 o'clock. Raiders-Chargers. I believe in Antonio Pierce. I believe in the youth plus the experience of the Raiders. What do I mean by that? You have veterans like Gardner Minshew and Devontae Adams, and then you have young guys like Zamir White and Brock Bowers and Trey Tucker, right? And I think that balance, you get a bunch of old guys, they're complacent, they may not motivate each other. You get a bunch of young guys, there's inexperience, there's newness, there's uncertainty. You mix the two. I think it's a good formula, and I think the Raiders have a perfect mix. I also think they're all buying into the new head coach, Antonio Pierce, and I like the Raiders in this one. The Chargers have an ugly depth chart. Look at it, okay? Gus Edwards and then some receivers that you wouldn't even trust on your high school team, okay? Is Justin Herbert really healthy? He had plantar fasciitis this offseason. He was in a boot for a while. Too many questions here for the Chargers, and I like the Raiders as the underdog, possibly even outright. Possibly Raiders money line, but I like the +3, and I really like this over 40.5. I think the Raiders come out hot. They come out fast, and I think the Raiders put up 28 on their own. So I think that definitely would clear the over for us. Game in Seattle. Guys, I get it. I've been outspoken in the past. I'm a Seahawks fan, but I typically am a very cautiously optimistic Seahawks fan. And in fact, I may border on the negative or pessimistic side when talking about Seattle. -5.5 is, I think, too low. We have Bo Nix in his NFL debut. This is a team that had a bottom 5 defense last season. The Broncos did. Yes, they have some decent corner and safety play, but I think Seattle is excited for this newness. Pete Carroll leaves. They bring in McDonald. I think they're eager to prove that they're being slept on. I think they're going to play with more pace. We saw Seattle run the ball for the last decade. I think they're going to say, we're going to run when we need to, but we're going to let Geno have one last ride. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They have Tyler Lockett. They have DK Metcalf. There is no reason this team should not put up 28 to 30 points in a lot of their games, truthfully. Okay, so I like them -5.5 here at home, and I think their defense is going to be ready under the new leadership. I just think it's a good spot for Seattle, and you're giving me less than a touchdown. I'll take it. Dallas and Cleveland. You see it? The first extra most bestest pick of the week. I triple checked this line to make sure I wasn't misreading it. In no world do I believe the Cleveland Browns should be favored over the Dallas Cowboys. All right, this is a team where we don't know how healthy Watson is. We know they don't have Chubb till week 4. I think the Cowboys D is stronger than the Browns offense. And you're giving me Dallas +2.5. So here's what I think about this. If this game is in Dallas, I have to expect that this spread is flipped, that Dallas is -2.5. Okay? I don't think that the Cleveland Browns have an over field goal home field advantage, right? Because that's what from -2 to +2, -2 to -2, you're going up to, that's a 5, really. It's a 5-point home field advantage. I don't think they have that. I think losing Tony Pollard is going to be a blessing for this team. I think getting Zeke back and being able to say, we can run when we want. I know Rico Dowdle's in there, but I think it's going to be Dak's year, and I think it starts off strong. So I feel pretty good about this game, that we could go over and +2.5, extra most bestest. Those are my picks. You see it again. Oh my goodness, not one, but 2 extra most bestest picks of the week. Tampa Bay -3. What? Again, another one that shocks me a little bit. You're giving me the Buccaneers, who keeps their team. Like, by and large, they did not do much this offseason. That's a good thing, okay? They do lose Dave Canales, which we talked about, but I trust Baker. I trust what he's learned. I trust that he's kind of at the peak of his career. And you're giving me a Washington Commanders team that has some of the most uncertainty in the league, lots of changes, new rookie QB, and it's only a field goal spread. I think this is closer to 10 than it is fair, right? Fair would be a pick 'em. Fair would be a spread of 0 or a 0.5. This is closer to me than to like 8.5, 9.5 than it is to 2 and 3. It feels weird. So I'm on Buccaneers -3. I like the under in this one. I think the defense brings it. I think this could be like a 24-6, 24-9 type of game. And that's where we got it. So those are my 2 extra most bestest picks. Sunday night football, we have Jared Goff facing his old team in the Rams and Matthew Stafford facing his old team in the Lions. So, of course, it's the storyline. Stafford revenge game? I don't know. I need to see a few weeks from this team. They kept a lot of their same guys. They lose Higbee, but everything else is pretty much the same as 2023, but the Lions retained everybody not named Josh Reynolds, okay? And they had some dudes. I think this is a Goff MVP type year. I think they have too many ways to get it done. So I like the Lions -3.5. I guess I like the under, but this could be a shootout. So that's why I'm not confident. Final game of the week is Monday Night Football. The Jets try again on Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers brings his Achilles back out there to see if he can't keep it intact. Visiting Santa Clara and the 49ers. +4.5, under 44 would be my picks. The Jets have a top 5 defense. I think Rodgers is eager for one last ride. This is probably it for him, I would have to imagine. That's my guess. I think they have enough to get the Niners off script. And what I mean by that is let's shut down Christian McCaffrey and let's make Brock Purdy beat us. And I don't think he's going to be able to beat this Jets defense. The 49ers, I think, are lacking some defensive talent that they had in years past. They had some injuries. They had some guys leave for free agency. They bring in a new they don't bring in a new defensive coordinator. One of their defensive coordinators moves up. He was like their cornerbacks coach, and now he's the defensive coordinator. Again, a lot of questions, right? So the theme of this week is questions, right? It's week 1. Bear with me. Here are all my picks, okay? If you're looking at my highest confidence pick, I like the under on Thursday. I like Titans plus 4.5. I like the over in the Raiders game. I like Seattle by 5.5. And I like the 2 spreads of these 2 teams in the over in this one. Okay, everything else, I don't know if I'd bother with, right? Let me get my footing. Let me get some, let me get some traction under me before you go throwing any of your hard-earned money on some yellow, okay? Don't even do it on green if you don't want to. These are just how I feel, and we'll see how I am. Now, tomorrow, you don't want to miss it. Make sure you come back tomorrow. I did build an NFL touchdown tracker. We're going to give out my touchdown picks for week 1. We're going to do touchdown picks every single Thursday on this channel. Of course, all the data right now says 0 because we haven't played a game, but this will update throughout the season, and we'll be able to hopefully find some trends and some angles for our bets. Thank you guys. 20 minutes is too long for this video. I'm going to try to shorten that down as we move forward into the coming weeks, but I appreciate you guys being loyal GMG pals, and we will see you tomorrow for Touchdown Thursday.